Hi guys, I'm Greg.
I'm John.
So, I was on Collider right now, and apparently the first Thor Ragnarok synopsis and image has been revealed.
Oh boy.
John, let's read this. John hasn't read this yet. I skimmed through it a little bit. In Marvel Studios' Thor Ragnarok, Thor is imprisoned on the other side of the universe without his mighty hammer.
Oh man.
And he finds himself in a race against time to get back to Asgard to stop Ragnarok, the destruction of his homeworld and the end of the Asgardian civilization.
Oh man.
At the hands of an all-new powerful threat, the ruthless Hela. But first he must survive a deadly gladiatorial contest that pits him against his former ally and fellow Avenger, the Incredible Hulk. Ooh. That's a pretty cool plot description.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
I don't know much about Marvel comic, like the actual source material of especially Thor. From brief understanding of gathering bits and pieces over articles over time, that Ragnarok in like mythology like led to the destruction of like Thor and Odin. I heard that in the comics though, he's kind of like a clone of Thor that Tony Stark invented.
Wait, is Ragnarok an actual guy, or is like this made it sound like Ragnarok is like the name of an apocalypse, basically?
Yeah, exactly, and because that's what it's like with the mythology.
Like Ragnarok is the end times.
Yeah, exactly. But then in the comics, he's like a cyborg clone. Thor goes missing in the comics, and then he gets recreated by Tony Stark and Richard Reed.
Interesting.
And so, but it doesn't sound like it's going for that. It sounds like it's going just for the mythology aspect of it. I don't feel like they're actually including the character. Maybe. Haven't read enough about it. But
perfect opportunity for a crossover.
They're saying it's Ragnarok, but the actual villain is Hela. And Hela is like the goddess of death, from what I've gathered. I'm really hoping that they do a great job with this villain. Because Thor introduced Loki. And I didn't think Loki was an amazing villain until he got to Avengers movie. No one even remembers who the fucking second villain really was, unless you're actually a big fan.
I remember because I love Christopher Eccleston.
What's his name?
The actor. The
character.
He's an elf. He's something.
You don't even know the character's name.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is I look back on that movie and I'm like, I fully acknowledge, I only remember you because of who played you.
But I think what everyone's going to get really excited about, something tells me the promotional aspect is going to focus more on this fight that he's going to have against the Hulk.
Yeah.
You know, they've had their Captain America versus Civil War. They've had their Captain America versus Iron Man in Civil War, and now they're gonna. I feel like they're really gonna promo Thor and the Hulk going toe to toe.
Yeah, and I think that's a cool thing for both of these franchises because it seems like most people would agree that Thor could be better.
Yeah.
As a series, I think we're getting to a point now where most people are like, well, if we have the Marvel Universe, why don't we have a Hulk movie? And doing a versus movie like this, at least is what it sounds like, is a good way to do both of those things at the same time. Like send Thor off in a confident direction and spark up a new direction for the Hulk.
And Cate Blanchett, she's going to be playing the villain, and Cate Blanchett's always she's a great actress. She's not always like, it's just depending on the role she gets and the amount of screen time she gets.
Dr.
But if she gets enough screen time, she does great. What? Oh yeah, Indiana Jones 4.
Yeah.
And Tom Hiddleston is coming back. You know, like he hasn't been in a film since I think Thor: The Dark World, so that's pretty awesome.
He's done some smaller stuff. He did High Rise, which was a sci-fi movie I really wanted to see, and
no, he hasn't done anything else.
And a Hank Williams movie,
and a Kong movie.
Oh, yeah. Are you joking with me right now?
Tom Hiddleston?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Kong Skull Island.
No, I know, but were you joking about him not doing anything since Thor 2?
No, I was saying that he hasn't been in Loki since Thor 2.
Oh yeah, totally.
They cut out his appearance in Age of Ultron.
But he is Loki in Kong Skull Island.
And Jeff Goldblum's going to be in this. Forgot who he's playing. And Carl Urban's going to be in this too.
Wait, Jeff Goldblum and Carl Urban are going to be in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like both of those guys.
Carl Urban's supposed to play a villain as well. Some Asgardian warrior. Jeff Goldblum, I think he's going to be like the guy who's like kind of in charge of the matches in some way. He's called like the Grandmaster. You know, it'd be great making notes before we film these videos.
Yeah, so the off-the-cuffness adds a flavor.
Off-the-cuffness adds a flavor, but it also usually leads
so
to a
does
lot
being
of
informed.
hatred comments, you know?
Yes. Preparation is key. This is cool casting information to me because I'm really intrigued by this movie. And some of the time, if you said Jeff Goldblum is going to be in the new Thor, I would be like, ah! But because of the other people who are around, and because of at least my experience with the director, I feel like this could turn out really cool and quirky and distinct.
Yeah, I feel like they're actually going for an intentionally fun vibe this time.
Yeah.
Something tells me the marketing might have like a serious trailer or two, but I feel like they're going to have like a really fun trailer, which would be a nice new touch for Thor because the first Thor like had humor in it, but the trailers were very serious. Thor: The Dark World tried being more than what it actually was. And this one, I feel like they're going for a lot more fun elements. Like, this sounds like a badass fun time. Destruction of Asgard at threat. But then you got this, like, storyline bar from the Planet Hulk comics, where Hulk is like a gladiator in space or some shit like that. Like, he actually competes in matches and stuff. I think it's going to be awesome. And I feel like the first footage of that is just going to get us jacked up to see Thor and Hulk going toe-to-toe in, like, an awesome gladiator match with the crowd watching and everything.
Yeah.
And, like, because in the gladiator match, you're kind of being put in a position where you have to kill. So maybe Thor will die, and then the Hulk will take over Thor's franchise.
Or the Hulk will just agree to go to jail.
Yeah.
Whatever the current and moving forward phase is, does seem like I'm intrigued by everything right now because they've made some, you know, confident decisions and they've made some actual tone shifts at least. So I like their interest in evolution. And this sounds like a lot of fun, and it sounds like we might get to see a different version of Hulk than you would normally in the Avengers universe.
Oh, totally.
And
I bet he's going to primarily be in Hulk form.
And the thing is, like, I'm sure there will be, you know, a little bit of dark, you know, in the trailers, but, like, I feel like as long as they're true to Thor, that's okay. A guy like Taika Waititi can really drum up the comedy and make it more likable as a movie.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to lose, you know, the stakes of Thor's life.
I don't know, just the plot of this sounds like a really fun, exciting, good time, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this sounds like an epic, you know, space movie in some ways.
This is one of
space fantasy film. That sounds awesome, dude.
Of all the upcoming Marvels, this is one I'm like, I want you to succeed. Let's do this.
I'm definitely excited. And this is cool because I'm really excited for a Marvel film without having even seen a trailer. They have this first image up here. I'm not sure what we're getting in this image. That must be Gila.
I mean, it looks, you know, Tolkien-y.
Those Norse mythology, you know?
Well, I mean, that's the cool thing about the genre that is Thor, is, like, I feel like as they move forward, they can make Thor even more of a fantasy epic. You know, bringing that Lord of the Rings flair, or that, you know, old school mythology flair. Just, like, I only say Lord of the Rings because that image looks like those designs. You know, bringing that flair even heavier into the Thor world is something that intrigues me, because it's more flavor, it's different.
Yeah, I really hope they're amping up the epic fantasy with it, back with a lot of comedy.
Yeah, back with a lot of, like, workplace.
Funny Lord of the Rings, you know?
Well, no, because, like, part of the charm of the first Thor movie is the fish out of water comedy.
Yeah.
And I feel like keeping that element in Thor is, like, that sketch they made was so funny. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because it's all him being a fish out of water, but now he's just really into it. He's like, yeah.
And I feel like Bruce Banner might get more of that humor this time around, because, you know, he's a human. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be really cool to see him in there. Yeah, I think, like, pairing up the Hulk in that. Oh, that's great.
I'm excited for this.
I really like Marvel movies. What do you guys think of Thor Ragnarok? You're new to the channel? Subscribe today. John, Reese's Jerry on Twitter and Instagram. Social media manager of Facebook and Bloomhouses of Real Rejects. Please subscribe. It would make me feel good to know that you're in me.
What?